Guys, welcome to the first part of my series called No One Asked But Everyone Wants to Know. Today I asked you guys some topics on my Instagram story about things that you guys really want to know, but with no offense, I asked for all the questions, all the tea, and the first topic was racism. I grew up in a predominantly all-white neighborhood. I went to predominantly all-white schools and all that jazz, so most of my friends are not. They're more of. I think that kind of just gives you guys a little bit of background of the avenue I'm about to talk about. Being a black girl growing up in a predominantly white situation, a lot of girls grow up not knowing their identity, but that is just not my story. My parents did such a great job with raising me to love my blackness, love my culture. So, being married to a white man kind of changed the game a little bit. I struggled so much with just like who I was because of how I was treated in a way. Disclaimer. I love my in-laws. And whatever God is doing right now, God is definitely mending some things to where we're going to have such a great relationship. Trust me on that. But this is just my story. I think that it's so important for black girls like me to speak out about situations that they came across because it's not talked about as much, and it breaks my heart because I don't want anyone to be blindsided or to feel alone in this because I definitely can resonate. Being married to Brett is amazing. He's so open to experiencing my culture in so many different ways. He loves the way that we cook, he loves the way that we dance, the music, all that stuff, and it's the most beautiful thing. When we first got married, I guess you could say that we had to learn so much about each other, which is so common. And side, and I grew up in like city, and he grew up in a really small town. And this small town is nothing that I was ever familiar with. I never really went over there until I met Brett. Coming around his family for the first time, I got all the stares, all the, also, I think it's safe to say that I was Brett's first girlfriend, first everything, so they were definitely checking me out and seeing if I was the real deal. Besides that, though, if we're talking about just race, there were so many different comments that I got from his side of the family that was just like, whoa, okay, is that okay to ask? I don't know. But I always kept it in the back of my mind, okay, Trinity, do not come off as the angry black woman, because that is one of the biggest stereotypes that us black women have to carry on our back sometimes. And I didn't want to come off as that. I never addressed it to Brett. I just kind of let it go, and whatever happened, happened. I prayed, actually. I prayed, because I love this man so much. But I felt so not deserving whenever I got around that family or anything like that. And for example, there would be some comment every single time I went to that side. It would be little snarky comments every single time. And I think, I gave them grace because I tried to see, okay, maybe they're trying to relate, I don't know. But there's ways that you can relate without even saying that. They were always trying to make me relate to people that they knew that they were black. I wasn't the first one that brought it up to Brett. This man of God had his eyes opened and he started realizing these things. He started seeing these things in his family, and then he came to me and was like, hey, Trent, do you ever feel like this when you're around my family? And I'm like, whoa, that's God. Because I really didn't know how to bring it out and talk about it to him, because it's his family and I didn't want to be problematic. If there's anything that you guys can get out of this is let your husband talk for you to his family. It's not my place to go up to his family and talk about these things because obviously this is his family and it's more approachable for him to say something. Everything that happened, I handled with grace and love and kindness. I still went on and hung out with them, tried after and everything like that. So yeah, guys, Brett has done such an amazing job just talking to his family about how I feel and how I'm subjected to my own feelings and all that stuff. They did not really appreciate that talk. It was kind of just blown over. No one wanted to make amends. It was just pointless kind of. However, God's timing. As much as I would love to force this situation, I can't force anyone to open their eyes. I had to come to the realization it is okay. The situation has caused me so much anxiety, so much depression, and I've never been insecure the way that I was just coming into the situation, but I can finally say that I've grown so strong, and we just learned how to walk powerfully and boldly into the situations. It was very tough at first to just kind of adjust to and everything. I tried multiple times to reaching out to his family and just kind of trying to come off as the sweet girl that I am, and I just feel it was just never reciprocated at all. It was just kind of okay, only talk to me if Brett's around. I've been praying for just things to change and for hearts to be softened so that we can be one big happy family again. marrying Brett, I know that I was not the person that they thought Brett was going to marry. Okay, that is okay because it's not their life, it's Brett's life. And after that initial engagement season, I still felt like that. I still felt like, oh, this girl is so cute to be his first girlfriend, but not cute enough to be his wife. And that hurt so bad because that's exactly how I felt for months and months and months. And it's the saddest thing because people like that are so okay with you having black friends and having, just a black girlfriend and all that stuff, but don't let them into the family, or that's the problem. And that's exactly the situation that I was in. And it was kind of just like they had to support Brett because that's family. And then they started not wanting to. They would just kind of like make up these lies all the time about me, and it was just the saddest thing because they wanted Brett to like have this misconception of me so bad, and it was just really weird. I have the most God man ever. He had my back through everything, and he always reminded me, encouraged me of who I am in Christ, so I would never forget. If you're going through a situation like that, I know how like hard it is to see the light in it, and like, to have those questions of like what's wrong with me, or like, how can I change and be better for them, when really God's gonna do it. And if you give that to God, let God work in their hearts. That's what I'm expecting to happen, and I know it's gonna happen because I have so much faith. But yeah, I've tried so many times. I know that you guys seen some people in my previous TikToks and stuff like that of his side of the family and everything, and it's because I'm trying. I was trying for so long, and now I'm giving it to God, and it's gonna be okay. It is gonna be okay. I don't have to keep attempting to put on this persona and everything. God will definitely use that time to make amends. Now, one thing that I always make sure that I do is I encourage Brett, hey, reach out to your family, hey, check on this person, hey, tell this person happy birthday. I think that one thing that I always love to do is just remind him we have to act out in love. Despite everything that is happening, like, love is the only way. Love is literally the only way. We can't heal anyone, only God can, so it's been quite a journey with them. I didn't even finish my makeup, but I hope that you guys really enjoyed this first part of the series and really got something out of it. If you guys want more about this topic, leave comments down below, and I would love to talk to you guys more about this. But thank you so much for allowing me to kick off the first part of this series. Love you guys. Bye.